Okay, traders, it is Monday morning here, a little after the open. I'm actually scouring for my first play. I see that the market has initially opened weak, then managed to, off of its initial weakness, start to immediately show some strength. Now, I do often play a minute or two right off the open, but there are some mornings that I actually like to sit back and watch things trade for 5 to sometimes as much as 15 minutes. It depends on the type of morning we have, on the type of open we have. Sometimes the open is extraordinarily clear and I'm actually thinking about taking a little short here on UNH. Let me pick up a few thousand shares here on the short side. And let's see if we can work ourselves. I just picked up 2,000 shares. Looks like an average price of 106.76. Now, I'm not concerned with a pinpoint entry here with such a small degree of shares. What I am concerned with is now with my small little toe in the water, is sort of feeling how it trades. A lot of times for me, I need to be in the play to actually start to get my intuitive feel. I need to see the trades react with me in the trade. I'm just one of those traders. I have to put my hand in it. I have to put my foot in it. So I will attempt to build up into a rather sizable position given the right activity from UNH. Now, what I do is if with this small position, if this small position does not act well, then I lose a small amount. All right. However, if it starts to perform the way I want it to perform, I will quickly build this small 2,000 share position into something quite sizable. As far as I'm concerned, $300, $400, $500 swing one way or the other is just neutral activity. So it's all relative. I mean, if I were to place a 200 share position, then the swing, the neutral swing would be a lot different. This is a $2,000 toe in the water, a 2,000 share toe in the water, I should say. So a $200, $400, $500 swing here and there, up or down, is really more neutral as far as I'm concerned. It might take some time to develop here. We'll see. UNH is not ordinarily a very, I should say, rapid mover. It can trend when it's ready to trend, but oftentimes it's not an extraordinarily rapid mover. It's a grinder. And sometimes grinding, when a stock has a grinding tendency, it can be a very steady producer. So we'll see. What I will do in the meantime is see if we might be able to put something else on the line here as well. There's nothing wrong with having more than one position. I see Intuit here coming up against this overhead 200 period moving average after a nice burst to the upside over the last, what is that, 2, 4, 6. So why don't we do this? Why don't we try to, let's see if we can get short here. Go a couple thousand shares on the short side with Intuit as well. Let's see where this takes us. Now again, these are only toes in the water here, all right? And they're anticipatory toes. So again, if they don't perform according to the way I'd like to see them perform, I will cut their losses rather short. I'll let them swing a little bit here. Now this might be a little strange for some who are not used to trading size. These numbers might seem big, but always keep in mind that it's all relative, all right? This could just as well be 20 shares stepping into the water just to get a feel, or it could be 200 shares, all right? My steps are usually 2,000 shares, with the idea perhaps maybe going up as high as a 20 to 30,000 share position. So we'll see. We'll see. Right now they're just vacillating here. What I'll be doing is just looking for, I'll have to refresh this chart. There's no gap there. Looking for an opportunity to find my moment. All right, if it comes. Sometimes it doesn't come. We'll see. Scroll through and see what's happened here. Okay. To which meandering around up here near the overhead 200 period moving average on the 2-minute time frame. We'll see if we can spot some weakness that will nail. What I'm going to do is, why don't I step up a little bit. My share amount here and Intuit. So actually I've stepped up to what looks like approximately 4,375 shares. This is the size. Okay. All right, still rather light position. Okay. Let's see if I can pick that size up even a little bit more. Let me take it up to the 5,000 share position. Again, still rather small in comparison to, a 20, 30,000 share position. But we'll stage in and see how this works for us. Okay, I'm getting some movement down, so now I'm up $272 on the position. We're getting some movement down. Again, that's still rather neutral. Up $710 on this position so far. Up $808. But again, these are all neutral zones. We're not in this game to make a few $100s here. We're looking for some size. There we go. Now that's what I'm talking about. So what I'll try to do is let me shave a little down here. I'm going to take 1,000 shares off, lock in some profits here. All right. I'm bidding at 88.30. All right. Last trade here is at 88.36. I have bids at 88.30. So let's see if we get a push down big enough to fill me at 30. I'll wait down there. I'll be patient. No need to rush. Let it vacillate back and forth. Over the years, as your seasoning develops, you start to just gain the ability to sit through the wiggles without them affecting you. One key characteristic of a novice trader is that you'll see that the market is actually playing them. They are not playing the market. Every tick, every move, every wiggle is actually moving the trader, when in fact, the more seasoned trader stands still, if you will, and allows the wiggles to just materialize and happen. They don't affect or move the trader's resolve. Okay? So again, Intuit showing a gain of 418 at the moment. That'll move back and forth. UNH showing a loss of about 500. No big deal. We're just waiting. We're waiting to actually build our positions. These are still relatively light positions. I have a little shy of 4,000 shares in Intuit and only 2,000 shares in UNH, both on the short side, actually, I might add. And let's see if we might be able to find something else to get into. I've got two shorts. There's nothing wrong with also looking for long and short positions. All right? I often like to do that. I like to have positions that represent both sides of the equation. And while I'll trade anything that presents itself, I do have my favorites. And the favorites are where I play about 80 to 85% of the time. And when my favorites aren't offering the opportunities I like, we're not presenting anything at the current moment, I'll go beyond those favorites. But I do try to stay with my favorites, those that I'm extraordinarily intimate with the vast majority of the time. That is another error that I believe many novice traders make. They extend themselves beyond what they're intimate with. In fact, many novices become intimate with nothing because they're constantly scurrying about from one symbol to the next, and they're easily moved by a little piece of news or what someone types in a chat room or what have you. So they don't become specialists. They don't become intimate. They don't learn the tendencies, the characteristics, the idiosyncrasies of a small group of stocks. When one becomes a specialist with 5 to 10 symbols, you can potentially reach a point in your development with these 5 to 10 symbols, with your intimacy, where you can almost, there we go, you can almost feel what is about to happen next. Okay, so I'm bidding at 30. I should be filled at 30, no? Yes, okay. It should be filled there. Some trades went off. So yes, I was filled. I locked some profits in. Not much, but I wasn't filled for everything at 30. So I still have some shares bidding at 30. And what I'd like to do, see if we can pare down a little bit more. Now, what's also interesting about Intuit is that at times its spread can go quite wide on you. And a lot of traders are uncomfortable with the stock that trades with a wide bid and ask spread. I'm not one of those traders. I got my start in the early days before the internet explosion back in the late 80s, early 90s, and it was actually quite uh, quite, what should I say, quite normal to trade stocks that had spreads of $2, $3, $4. So I cut my teeth as a professional trader during that environment. So when now a stock opens up with a spread of 25 cents, 20 cents, to me that's still rather small based on my history of trading. UNH, let's flip back there. You know what, why don't we do this? Let's, if I see some additional weakness start to set in with UNH, perhaps if I see UNH begin to really break down from this 2, 4, 6, 8, 10-minute ledge here, I'll start to build my position there as well. So I've got an open position in Intuit for $700, closed position for almost $300. I'm down in UNH, a very neutral $500, but nothing to write home about. Total P&L here, almost $1,000 in Intuit. Half of that is in the negative on UNH. Excuse me. We'll see if we can turn that around. All right, let's go back to Intuit here a little bit. Now I have some bids out there at 37. I'll start to pare down a little bit. Remember, I still have those bids at 30 as well. There's 38 print. Now I'm sitting at 37 with some shares to cover. Locked in a little bit more. Okay, I'm down to 3,000, 2,300 up, so it's hitting my bids. Dropping down to 30, hitting my bids. Closed P&L has moved up to 810. Open P&L still 671. I'm still bidding at 30. All right. My 30 should start to go here. Fills on the 30s. I'm down to 1,875 shares. All right, there we go. Okay with that. Now I'm bidding still here. I've only got 375 shares left here, and let's get rid of that. Now, so I've locked in $1,320 on the INTU trade. The reason why I decided to sort of pare it down to zero is because I see that we're coming into this triangular formation. I felt that we were going to get a drop off the declining 200 into the 20, but there's a little bit of support I see developing here. This move up off the $30 area, remember I was bidding there for a while. We moved back down to it. Now we're popping back up. And as the space between the 200 and the 20 start to narrow, this starts to get more of a bullish sort of handle development here that could pop to the upside. So basically I decided to close the position out. We took some change out of it. Now let's focus on our UNH. Okay. Now, actually, to be honest with you, the longer UNH starts to drift sideways, the more bullish it actually can potentially become. Now, I'm in a short position, so that wouldn't be so great for us here. But let's give it a little bit more time and see what happens. Again, we have this triangular formation happening here. And out of these patterns, any direction is possible. But time will favor the bulls, which is not cool for me right now. All right? Time will favor the bulls. So I've got to be careful here. Got to be careful. Thank goodness I only have a 2,000 share position. Another thing that I find that novice traders tend to do is they struggle with their open positions. Their mental processes are in overdrive, which makes the activity so unnecessarily stressful, right? They're almost attempting to will the position in their desired direction versus just react when action is needed. Allow the stock to flow. Allow it to bend its knees every now and then. Allow it to ebb and dip and pick its little head up. It deserves those movements. You don't want to mentally try to put the stock and its movements into a straitjacket or to force it into your idea. Like I'm short, so of course my desire is for the stock to drop, but all the mental activity, all the wishing and the hoping and the praying is not going to accomplish that. So I just let the stock be. I let it do what it's going to do. I'll react when I need to react, and that's it. If it turns out to be a winning trade, that's great. If it turns out to be a losing trade, okay. That's okay too. Losing trades are with us forever. They will never go away. How you handle your losing trades is one of the keys to success as a trader. A lot of people think that success is more connected to your wins, but it's not. Success is not connected to your wins. Success is more connected to your losing trades and how you lose. How effective of a loss taker are you? You see what I'm saying? There are all types of courses and all types of books and articles and blogs and things of that nature it's all geared toward you becoming a winner. When in fact, most traders need to focus on how they lose. I always talked about my next book, the title of my next book being Lose Your Way to Success. But most novice traders think completely in the opposite direction. And that makes sense. That's why they're novices. They think backwards. They think 180 degrees in the opposite direction. And why else would they lose more frequently than they win if they weren't thinking in the opposite direction? A trader who loses, 85% of the time, is a trader who has his belief system upside down, right? A trader who loses 85% of the time really should buy every time they think they should sell, and they should sell every time they think they should buy, turning their win ratio to 85% wins to only 15% losses. So most novices are thinking backwards. Got myself into a drifter here, but give me a little patience. We'll see. Now, as you can see, I have $5 million of buying power. My exposure now, having closed my INTU trade, is only $214,000. Okay, I've traded so far a little shy of 12,000 shares, so it's a light trading morning for me. Okay, I've only booked $1,300 in profits. And usually when I do these recordings, my trading is a little on the light side because I actually want to converse with you. I want to talk with you. So that slows me down a little bit, but it's for a worthy cause. And you know what I'm going to do, since this is drifting, again, as I mentioned to you just before I leave this symbol and we start to scan through other symbols, time will benefit the bulls in this scenario. I can feel it. The longer UNH drifts, the more bullish it becomes. So there's a good possibility that I might even reverse on this position, closing out my short and building along. But we'll see. We'll see. The jury is still out. I want to see how UNH handles the 20-period moving average starting to come in contact with the price activity. That's really what I'm waiting for. But we've got some time, so let's scan through here. Decay acting a little bullish here. I like Apple. I like Apple for a possible pop to the upside. Let's do a little playing with Apple here. All right, take a little tiny position, really tiny here. Let's see what it does. It's still rather neutral, but what I really like that I'm seeing is the fact that Apple experienced 2 solid minutes of pure bearishness, solid bearishness, but experienced little to no follow through immediately after that bearishness. Okay, whenever that happens, I take notice because it tends to be a sign that the bulls are willing to come in and overpower the bears on brief periods of bearishness. So they stop the bears dead in their tracks after a very short period of time. Now, if there's follow through on these red bars, meaning that you have a really solid red bar and then another solid red bar and another solid red bar, the bulls are not strong enough to actually hold the bears in check after a short period of time. So these one solid red bar phenomena that have no more follow through are actually quite interesting. And we're just seeing this drifting activity in a lot of things across the board, indicative of the type of market we're dealing with today. Nice solid volatility in the first 5 to 10 minutes of trading and going down to a whisper. And there's that 20-period moving average on top of UNH. Let's see if we can get some downward pressure now on this. The market has gone red. Perhaps that helps things a bit. Now I'm short and long, but a very inconsequential amount here on Apple. You can get a little pop and collect some change. As you can see, there's a decent amount of resistance up here in the 119 area. See the pop up here and the drop back, pop up to the area, drop back, pop up to the, not 119 as a specific price, but as an area, a decent amount of resistance. So once that resistance clearly goes, if that resistance clearly goes, a nice little pop can happen. It could prove that that resistance is formidable enough to cause the bulls to bail and we pop to the downside. I'd actually like to see it pop to the downside first so that I can demonstrate how one potentially builds into a position that you still believe is bullish even though it's dropping. Let's see which scenario we get. And so far, nothing exciting. Now, if we dip back toward these lows, I'll look to take this really puny position of 1,500 shares and actually build it up a little bit more down in the 75 to 80 area, if you will. We'll see. I'd actually prefer that scenario first because I am rather light with my position. Again, we can't make the trade do something. See, here's that scenario where I told you on UNH, okay, the longer it bases, the more bullish it becomes actually. But I'm not really ready to kill the position yet. All right, it's still meandering in this base, and it has to show me more one way or the other to cause me to act. So we'll see. It's a waiting game right now. Again, Apple having a tiny bit of trouble at the round number, 119. Again, if 119 is penetrated, not just poked through, but penetrated for real, it should go, which it looks like it's trying to do right now. Okay, now I don't have many shares, so it's not like my P&L is going to rip here. I'm up 122 bucks. That's not even dinner. Nothing to write home about yet. $1,500 shares. See if this thing can be more than just a one bar phenomena above its resistance point. Excuse me. I like these vacuums though. I like these bases of support that are a decent distance below a key major moving average. So you create this vacuum where there's an opportunity for there to be a push up to the next major moving average. I like when you have that distance there. If this were a lot closer, there would be this lack of distance, which wouldn't have me really, really very interested. But we're dealing with a sort of lackluster market here, as you can tell. Most things kind of meandering around. I'm getting some upward movement I see in my UNH. I'll pare it down on my Apple a little bit here. See if we can get it to push a little higher. Taking 500 off the table, 500 shares off the table of my 1,500 share position. I'm sort of playing around here, you know. Just not the greatest excitement because the size is small, but there's the 15's gone. And so I've closed out the position with, you know, quick 213 bucks. You know, again, and most of this is just for demonstration purposes for you. A lot of these things I would be taking with much larger size and going for bigger gains, but for the sake of brevity, I just like to show you how a professional trader sort of goes back and forth and takes 200, 300 here, 1,000 there, 600 there, 500 there, and pieces together a very nice day for himself. Okay, see, the UNH is now, looks like it's more bullish than bearish, all right? So what we're going to do is we're going to close this one out. Okay, so that's closed. All right, so it took a little $840 loss. You can't let these things get out of control. All right, but we'll get it back. Don't worry about that. You know, losses are with us forever. All right, and I hope you just understood the concept where the longer a base goes, and when that base ignores an overhead moving average, meaning it doesn't react to the downside, it just starts to move to a very bullish stance. I hope you understood that particular concept. This is trading, guys. This is trading. Our Apple has continued. But you know what? Let's do this. Let's build a short position in HD. See if I can so here. What I'm looking at is the movement below the shelf here and the overhead 200. All right. I like this top as well. So in this particular scenario, I see that there's some decent room, potential room to the downside, down to this former low that happened Friday. But I see a very, very powerful top formed here after retesting its little blip to the upside off the open. All right, this tells me that there's overhead supply in this area. All right. So again, I only got short 1,500 shares here. All right. But I'm not afraid of pops to the upside. In fact, pops to the upside will help me get even more short this position. But I see that there's some potential movement down to this, at least to this prior low here. All right, so up a small $138 here, 183. We continue to move forward downside. Let's see how far we can get this thing down. Let's see if we can get some of that UNH money back. All right. Gotta love this game, right? Okay, taking a little off the table, taking off 500, put some money in the bank. I am a peeler, right? So I will peel as the position works in my favor. Pare it down, pare it down, pare it down. Now, as HD pops back to the upside, I might add it back on. So I'm an adder and reducer, an adder and reducer. Okay, let's see if we can get short a little bit more up here at 90. Oh, it fell back. Let's see if we can. Now I'm sitting with a short order at 108.90. I'd like to get short 108.90 all the way up to the round number here, 109, maybe even a little higher. I have no problem building my position up in this area for another potential secondary rollover. And we'll see how it goes. Okay, I've locked in $186, nothing to write home about. Total P&L of about 300 or so. Vacillates back and forth here. See if we can get this thing pushing down a little lower. Yeah, 250. Closed. All right. So we picked up a little bit more of our UNH money. 302 here. Again, for the sake of brevity, I'm trying to go in and out of a number of trades for you guys. So you see how a trader sort of pieces a day together. I'm only up $1,000 this morning. What time is it here? It's less than an hour. $1,000 an hour, not bad. It's all about not letting your losers really. See, here's that play again. We didn't get this one, but that move back up to the 200 and the drop back down. Just a beautiful, beautiful opportunity. All right, our HD is moving down lower. That's okay. And just showing you some quick in and outs. Look at the UNH. It finally cracked. Look at that. Listen, that's the way it goes in the trading world. All right? It had me. I exited the short position on this bar. And just a couple bars later, I got exactly what I was expecting. That could have pushed my day into the $3,000 range or so. But hey, that's just the way it goes. You've got to cut those losses. You can't allow a trade like this to make you do something different the next time. Just because right after I decided to cut the position short, it finally worked, should not make a trader say, you know what, the next time I'm not going to cut my losses short, because that's the death knell. That is what puts you out of business. All right? We've still pieced together, roughly $1,000 in the first hour of trading, right? If we can do that 2 or 3 more hours out of the day, we've put together a very nice day. So listen, I hope you've enjoyed this short time. I've got to actually do some business right now. My plan is to do this very frequently to show you how a trader comes out of the blocks in the morning in the first hour of the day, put to $3,000 per day. It can be done. It can be done consistently with smart, accurate, and very timely trading. Oliver Velez coming to you live right now from New York City, and I'll see you shortly. Hi, my name is Oliver Velez. professional trader for the past 28 years, best-selling author of 5 popular books on the topic of trading for a living, international speaker, and prominent entrepreneur. I've been training traders the art and science of trading for a living for the past 20 plus years, and I'm proud to say that my education has touched and improved the lives of thousands of traders worldwide. And for the very first time ever, I will be offering my 2-day proprietary trading course in an on-demand format. And I'm very excited about this. This format will give the student the ability to learn many of my money-making trading tactics and techniques at their own pace. It will come complete with quizzes, exams, reviews, and hundreds of examples to ensure that my concepts are well absorbed and retained. What's more, every graduating student of my 2-day on-demand trading course will be completely funded by me, starting with $75,000 in buying power. They will have the ability to advance to as much as $2 million in buying power and will receive up to 80% of all profits earned on their funding. This is the ultimate trading partnership in my view. Now, more information will be available soon, but be on the lookout for it, please. In the meantime, if you have enjoyed this video and would like to continue watching me trade the markets live, please subscribe to my YouTube channel right now. It's quick, it's easy, and most importantly, it's free. All you need to do is input OL Velez 007 in the YouTube search field. Click on my channel and simply subscribe. Thank you so very much for your time, and know that this is only the beginning. Happy trading.